My name is Sofia. I live in a small, busy city, but my life feels slow and quiet. I work in a little flower shop. The air smells sweet and fresh. I love arranging flowers with my hands. At night, I go home alone. My apartment is small and full of books. The silence feels soft around me. Sometimes my best friend Mia visits. We drink tea and talk about dreams. Sometimes I just sit and listen to the night. I live with my mother. My father passed away when I was little. My mother raised me with love and strength. She often said, "Love is like a flower, Sofia. Handle it with care, or it will break." Back then, I didn't understand. I thought love was easy. Now, I know better. Inside me, there was always hope. Hope for something more. Hope for a love that stays. It was a rainy Tuesday. The city looked gray and cold. I was arranging roses near the window. The bell above the door rang. A man stepped inside, wet from the rain. He looked a little lost. He had dark hair, wet and curling. His smile was small but kind. He held a crumpled note in his hand. I wiped my hands on my apron. "Can I help you?" I asked softly. He nodded and showed me the note. It was a birthday list. He wanted flowers for his mother, but he didn't know what to choose. I suggested yellow tulips. "Yellow means happiness," I said. He smiled, this time a real smile. "Thank you," he said. "My name is Ethan." I felt my cheeks get warm. "I'm Sofia," I replied shyly. The rain tapped gently on the windows, and something new tapped on my heart. The next week, Ethan came back. He didn't need flowers this time. He just smiled and said hello. My heart skipped a beat. I pretended to fix some daisies, but I couldn't hide my smile. He bought a small plant, a little green thing with soft leaves. "It's for my mother," he said. We talked for a few minutes. About the rain, about flowers, about favorite colors and little dreams. His favorite color was blue. Mine was yellow, like the tulips he first bought. Talking to him felt easy, like opening a window after a long, cold winter. That day, I started to wait for him. Not for flowers, but for the sound of the doorbell. Ethan started visiting often. Sometimes he bought flowers, sometimes he just smiled and talked. The shop felt warmer when he came. Even on rainy days, the world seemed brighter with him there. One afternoon, he asked about my dreams. No one had ever asked me that before. I felt my heart open a little. I told him about my dream. Maybe one day, a bigger flower shop or a garden cafe. He listened carefully. Like every word mattered. His eyes made me feel seen. "You have a gentle soul, Sofia," he said. "You bring things to life." His words stayed in my heart. That evening, I sat by my window alone. But this time, I wasn't lonely anymore. One evening, Ethan invited me for a walk. The rain had stopped, and the streets smelled like fresh earth. We walked by the river. The lights danced on the water. The city felt softer, almost like it was holding its breath. We sat on a bench, an old wooden one near the oak trees. Ethan looked nervous, playing with his hands. Then he turned to me, his dark eyes serious and kind. "I know it's soon," he said, "but I've fallen in love with you." My heart felt too full to speak. Tears burned behind my eyes. "I love you too, Ethan," I whispered, and the world around us disappeared. He held my hand tightly. "We'll build a life together," he said. "A house, a garden, a future." I believed every word. That night, I went to sleep smiling. For the first time, the future didn't feel lonely anymore. One afternoon, Ethan came to the shop with heavy eyes. I knew something was wrong before he even spoke. He sat with me by the window. The rain tapped softly on the glass. He held my hand tightly, his fingers colder than usual. "I got a job in another city," he said. "It's only for a few months, Sofia. It will help us save faster." His voice was both hopeful and sad. My heart sank. I tried to smile, but it felt too heavy. 4 months sounded like forever. We promised to call every night, to send photos and letters. We promised to think about our future. We promised not to change. The day he left, I went with him to the train station. The goodbye was filled with hugs and silent tears we tried to hide. As the train pulled away, I stood alone on the platform, holding his promises in my heart, like flowers I couldn't let die. The first weeks were not so bad. Ethan called every night. We talked for hours, laughing, dreaming, missing each other. He sent me photos of the new city, buildings, streets, sunsets he thought I would like. I printed them and put them by my bed. Hearing his voice was my favorite part. I counted the hours until his calls. Each word from him felt like a thread keeping us close. I worked at the flower shop by day. I dreamed about our house by night. I smiled when customers spoke of love because I believed mine was safe. But slowly, something started to change. The calls grew shorter. The smiles felt thinner. He said he was tired. Long hours, heavy work. I tried to understand, but a small fear grew inside me. I told myself, it's just the distance. It's just the stress. But my heart didn't fully believe it. One night, Ethan didn't call. I stared at my phone, waiting for it to ring. I told myself he was busy. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he fell asleep. I tried to stay calm. The next day, still nothing. No message, no call. The hours dragged like heavy chains. I could barely breathe. I called him that evening. No answer. Straight to voicemail. My heart dropped into my stomach. I sent a text. "Are you okay? I miss you." No reply. Just silence. The silence grew louder each day. I kept checking my phone. Every second, every minute, hoping for his name to appear. 3 long days passed, 3 cold, sleepless nights. I was stuck between fear and hope, and both were breaking me. On the 4th day, my phone buzzed. A message from Ethan. My hands shook as I opened it. It was short. "Need some space. Will contact you soon. No, I love you." No explanation. Nothing. I stared at the screen, frozen. Relief he was alive mixed with pain. What did he mean? Space. Space from me? I texted back quickly, "Are you okay? Please call me." But no answer came, just silence, heavier than before. Days passed like slow rain. I woke up hoping for a message. I went to sleep with tears, but there was nothing. Then 1 week later, another message came. "Meet me Friday, 3 p.m., our bench by the oak tree." Hope flared in my chest. Maybe he missed me. Maybe he wanted to explain. Maybe everything could still be saved. Friday came gray and cold. Clouds covered the sky. I wore the blue dress he liked. I wanted him to see me smiling. I arrived early at the park. The old oak tree stood strong. Our bench waited quietly, just like I waited. 3 o'clock came. No Ethan. I checked my phone again. No messages, no missed calls. Maybe he was late. Maybe there was traffic. I told myself stories to protect my heart. The minutes dragged by. The sky grew darker. A soft rain began to fall, then grew heavier. I stayed on the bench, cold, wet, and shivering, still hoping, still believing. At 4:30 p.m., the park was almost empty. My heart knew the truth, but my body stayed frozen. I walked home in the rain, soaked, silent, numb. Each step felt heavy, like my heart had no strength. Back in my apartment, I stood under a hot shower, trying to wash away the cold, but the cold was inside me. He never called. Not the next day, not the next week. Nothing. Only silence. My mom asked questions. So did Mia. But I had no answers. Only pain and confusion. I went to work again. The flower shop felt different. The colors seemed dull. The smells felt distant. Mrs. Peterson was kind. She gave me space. I smiled politely, but inside, I was breaking. At night, I sat on my bed alone. No calls, no messages, just questions with no end. Weeks passed slowly. The sadness didn't leave, but it became quieter, less sharp, less heavy. One rainy afternoon, I walked to our park. The oak tree stood strong, even after so many storms. I sat on the wet bench, closed my eyes, breathed in the cold air, and let go. I wasn't waiting anymore. Not for him, not for answers, only for myself. I started drawing again, sketching flowers, rain, memories, putting pain on paper until it became lighter. Mrs. Peterson noticed. She asked me to draw for the shop. Seeing my work displayed made my heart bloom again. Life didn't become perfect, but it became real. My world grew roots again. My own garden, my own dreams. What did you think of Sofia's story? What part touched you the most? Have you ever waited for someone who never came? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. If this story touched your heart, and if you enjoy emotional stories in English like this one, please like the video, share it with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next story. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you again very soon. Remember, life is emotional, so live your story.